What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy with Trade Decoded. It is Friday, January 10th, 2025, and it's 3:33 in the afternoon. Title of the video, can we teach ourselves to see the future? And the answer is obviously no. But what you can teach yourself to do is trust and understand probabilities, right? Probabilities doesn't guarantee that the result is going to be what the probabilities say it's going to be, but it certainly should give you more of a comforting feeling in trusting what it is that you're trying to consider doing, right? And that is exactly the case with how I use support and resistance early in the morning near the open to justify the trades that I take. Now, I've posted 5 videos this year alone, pre-recorded or recorded live in our community, and every single one of the scenarios have worked out. I've called out my trades. I've told you what I was doing. I've told you where I expected to go. And so, do probabilities work more often than they don't? Well, yeah, they do. And the point of these videos in this format that I'm using is to show you that it is possible, because that's what I'm trying to teach you, right? I'm trying to teach you the probabilities. Now, at some point, I'm going to take a losing trade in the morning. Today is not that day. Yesterday or Wednesday wasn't, Tuesday wasn't, Monday wasn't, and whatever days before that were not either. I'm green on the year every day so far, and I'm happy about it. Not naive to understand that sometime I'm going to lose, okay? But the point is, how do you start to determine why and when you should take some of these trades? For me, it's all about support and resistance, okay? I mark up my chart because those lines become the justification for my actions. If I am plotting pre-market high or pre-market line to the upside that if we cross, I'm going to buy calls, and a pre-market line to the downside where if we cross, I'm going to play puts, that is me preparing myself to execute my trade plan, right? And to further give me additional confirmation, as I show you guys in these videos every day, I make a call and put scenario every morning. Now, if you watch my videos, you know that if we are leading into the open, putting in higher lows and higher highs, I am going to be leaning towards and prepared for calls. Now, at any moment, as you saw on Wednesday's video, that can change. And there are reasons that it changes. Okay? It's never just, well, I don't feel good about calls. It's because I'm seeing something that's making me not feel good about calls. And I'm adjusting on the fly. Likewise, when we have a put scenario, the reason I'm putting those lines there is I'm preparing myself to take action when and if we cross those lines. That is my go. So this morning, we had our call put scenarios in play. I started out wanting to buy calls, and you'll hear that I'm switching to puts. Why was I switching to puts? Well, the opening candle on SPY was a big red candle. The opening candle on Qs was at resistance, big red candle. ADD's candle turned red. Because of those things, and we were breaching the put line on both charts, ADD was printing a red candle, I'm good to go to the downside. I'm executing my trade plan, and where I expect it to go in that case is the next support down. Okay? So where is that? Well, in today's chart, that is, we had our put line for SPY right here at 584.94. We had our put line on Qs right here at Wednesday's, I didn't mean to move that, at Wednesday's low of day. Told everybody, guys, if we get through these lines on both charts, I'm expecting us to run down to the next support down. Okay? Now, it doesn't look like it, but on this chart, that move from break of support to where this first candle on the very first candle down is a little over 90 cents. 90 cents. Do you have any idea how much that pays when it happens in a minute? That's huge. Now, I was aiming for the blue line, as you'll hear in the video that I recorded today. I wanted to see Qs and SPY get down to their pre-market midlines. They got very, very close here. When the wick started to show up, I told everybody, guys, I'm hoping we get down here. However, I'm going to trail my stop. I ended up getting stopped out of this trade at 932. I wanted the blue line. I didn't get the blue line. Instead, I got stopped out. So I did leave a fair amount of extra money by trying to hold for a little bit more. This returned me 16.6% on my money. I kept the video going shortly after I exited my trade. And during that time, an influx of people in our community were sharing with me their percentage returns on their trade and that they were one and done. And right now, I think we have 17 red and 156 greens or something like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful morning. And that was it for me. That was it for me, right? My goal is to make $500 a day. This paid me well over that amount. We had people getting percentage growths on their account from this one quick move. We had people miss it altogether and decided to wait for a pullback or, a break of this support, looking for the next support down, because realistically, the support that we were hoping really to get was down here at these lines. And it eventually did, but you would have had to hold through a pretty nasty pullback to get that. Now, before I go any farther into this video, I do want to know from you guys, while it's still within the time frame that you guys typically watch, do you want me to continue to go over the trades we talked about, or do you not care about that and you just want to hear what happens on our opening trade? Please let me know down in the comments below, because I don't want to keep making these videos that's basically covering everything that I do in every other one of my videos, right? The chart's different every day, but when we're putting in lower highs and lower lows, that's a downtrend. We're finding reasons to take puts. We have some rules in place, but if you watch any of my videos, you already know what those rules are. Do I need to keep reiterating why we would be taking puts here? Why we would be aiming for support here in those puts? If we break that support, why we should head down to the next support? If you don't find any need for that, please let me know. Save me some extra time, some extra talking. Okay. I'm really trying to shorten these videos up as much as I can, so that you guys can make it all the way through without getting bored or whatever the case is. I'm just sharing what works for me, okay? And if you watched any of the 500 other videos that I have on my channel, you should be pretty versed on why I would enter puts at this point. And if you don't know why, it's very simple. Number one, let me first tell you that this is an instance that probabilities would have failed us. So we started to put in higher lows. Normally, we would expect this resistance to break and continue up because of the higher lows. That is not the case this time. The resistance held and it rejected the move. So if you bought calls up here near resistance, you have to get out of this trade as soon as this trend line gets taken out. Okay. Now, if you're looking for puts, we always say, wait for a break of the trend and then take out the most recent support or resistance, whichever way we're going. In this case, break the trend line, take out support, and as long as there's room to the next support, you take that trade. We broke the trend line and we took out support in the same candle, and then we headed straight down to the next support down. Okay. So again, these are trades that last minutes, guys. I don't hold my trades for even minutes most of the time. My opening trade was like a minute 24 seconds or something. Not even. I think it was less than that. Okay, so were a lot of other people in the communities. But all we're waiting for, if we're downtrending and we close below support, we should expect that we're going to move down to the next support. Just look left to find out where that is. If there's enough room between support 1 and support 2, take the trade. And it helps significantly to see ADD moving in your direction too, which is why there's arrows on all of these charts on the same candles, because all of the things that we needed to see to justify these positions are happening at the same time. That's an A+ setup. So if you got in on this candle because we broke support, we move down to the next support, some people hang on to these things and they take a much bigger move than I would. But Justifying and understanding why you're considering taking these trades is what you need to be paying attention to. Okay? Likewise, to the upside, same rules. If we were putting in lower highs and lower lows, we don't start considering anything other than puts until the lower high, lower low situation stops being the case. And yes, you could see it. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, not so much a lower low. Doesn't mean you're staying away from puts, but now we say, well, we have a support here. Okay? And let me bring it to your attention because we have an alert there this whole time. We had support on the Qs as well. So now you don't buy puts here. You got to wait. You got to wait for a close below that support. And then you say, okay, we should head down to the next support. But if you waited, you started to see higher lows. Puts come off the table immediately. But Jimmy, do I jump into calls at that time? No. Why? For the same reason we waited to get into puts or calls here, right? Trend line gets breached and we closed above resistance. Happened on the same candle, much like it did to the downside here, but to the upside. Where should we expect that to go? The next resistance to our left. Well, where is that? It's right here. So if you want to play that space between 579.90 and 580.59, which is, again, a 70-cent move, that pays well. Okay? Same thing to the downside. Well, we're putting in higher lows. Here's a wedge that didn't fail this time. Breaks through resistance. You could jump into your calls here, take them to the next resistance. Well, what happens if we close above that resistance, Jimmy? Well, look left. Where should we go from there? Somewhere over here, where all this resistance was, not the orange line, where it was to your left. We know that if we got above this, our next batch of sellers should exist somewhere in this range. Okay, great. We break it, we turn that resistance into support, and we chop our way up to the next resistance. Great. Do we start putting in lower highs and lower lows? No. We stay up here, we make a new support, we break that resistance once again. Is there room to the next resistance, which is the blue line? And we talked about this right before I left for the day. I tell these guys, I get off the mic at 12 o'clock. So guys, while I'm gone, if we break resistance and we're putting in higher lows, expect resistance to fail and that it's going to move up to the next line up. That's an example of it. We closed above resistance. The next one to our left from here is all the way up here. Okay, you closed above resistance. The next one is here. And it continued to move up from there and say la vie. All right, so please, guys, if I need to keep covering this part of these videos, please let me know. Or maybe tell me, Jimmy only picked three examples. I'm not trying to bore you to death here. What I am trying to do is get you to start seeing the patterns and trusting them because they work. And I think it will make huge differences in your trades when it comes to your wins losses. Okay. Remember, higher lows are bad for puts. So as long as we're putting in higher lows, stay away from puts. And lower highs are bad for calls. So as long as we're putting in lower highs, stay away from calls. Okay? I'm telling you, this stuff works. There's no shortage of people who have turned their trading careers around by using this stuff, guys. My strategy is completely different. And I don't use indicators, as you know. I use my eyeballs and price action. And I'm not looking for home runs. That is what I attribute my win rate to. Okay? That's all the reason that these videos exist for. Now, without further ado, I'm going to roll this morning's trade, and you guys enjoy. I'll see you after it's done. All right. Well, it is 9:25, as the fine people of this here community never let me forget. It's called put scenario time. Prior to just a few minutes ago, I would have been using our pre-market high line and or Wednesday's low of day, which is that pink line there at 585.20, to be our call line. But we have since gotten through that and turned it into something that resembles a resistance, or a support rather. So now we're going to have to say, all right, if we can get above this new resistance it's kind of made, we'd be hoping to at least make it up to 586.40, 586.60. somewhere in there. It's a decent sized space in between. Now on the Qs, let's say we want to be above this orange line at 511.55. We are putting in higher lows on the Qs. So that's good, unless this one right here turns into a lower high, and then that's bad. To the downside, depending on how aggressive you want to be, we could say if we're below the pink line on both charts, we'd love to see this thing continue to run down, but we'll move it down just a hair on SPY. Let's say if we can get below 584.94 on SPY, we'd love to see it continue down to the pre-market midline, that is 583.94. That'd be almost a dollar move right there. The reports this morning really spooked the market. And as we were just talking about before, it's because, well, the market is now having to accept the fact that we might not get very many rate cuts. I mean, we were slated for 4, they cut it back to 2, and now it might even be fewer than that for 2025. In fact, they may actually raise rates in 2025 based on what's going on out there. But anyway, to the downside, it's really up to you. Aru, normally if there's price action below, I'm willing to play breach, but it really determines you have to determine whether you want to play aggressive or not. I'm okay being aggressive, so I have no issues playing a breach in a situation like this. My issue currently, right now, is the fact that Qs are showing what we could argue is an uptrend. So it's probably more wise to wait for the Qs to close below not only the uptrend line, but also below that line of support. Probably the wiser thing to do. But if you want to use ADD as a justification for making your decision on the fly, then do that. Okay. I don't want to have any preconceived notion of what I want to do. Naturally, because the Qs are currently moving up, I feel like I should be ready to take calls. But, that's just because I'm trying to trust what I'm seeing, not what I'm feeling. I feel like we have more chances of going down than up, but the market doesn't give a shit about our feelings, right? The market doesn't give a shit about our feelings. And if you don't like either way, or if you feel like I feel, but you're watching us move up, then don't do anything. Don't do anything. I'm going to be prepared for calls simply because at this very moment, both of these charts look more like they're trying to move up than they are currently trying to move down. It's very hard to ignore what we see over here, from the reports this morning and say, man, how could it not continue to go down after seeing a drop like that? All right, so the market just opened. Sorry, let's see multi-chart layout here. And Qs are up at their respective line that we wanted to get above before we would get in. SPY opened above theirs as well, and they were both trying to push down. Where did ADD open? ADD opened at minus 1,500, and is I'm going to be switching over to puts here. I'm going to be switching over to puts here to be prepared. I'm not getting into them yet, by the way. And yes, shit is going to be exceptionally expensive today as well, by the way. If ADD's printing red, Qs are trying to break that pink line is the stink line. SPY is breaking theirs. I'm going to go ahead and come on, Qs, get me through it. I'm going to take it. And I'm going to hope that SPY comes somewhere down to 583.94. Trail it. It's an aggressive entry. I like that the Qs were printing red. I like that SPY was trying to print red. And I like that ADD was printing red. So for me, that was all a reason to take it. Now I'm already in decent profit, so I'm willing to just start trailing this thing at this point. And as we come down to this blue line on both charts, I will probably be willing to go ahead and take my profits there. Oh, but Jimmy, what if it keeps going? I don't care. This was an expensive trade, but it's also rewarding me handsomely. I am starting to trail this quite a bit more. I would be hoping to see the Qs actually come down to their next line. And their next support down on the Qs is actually below this blue pre-market midline. So it'd be interesting to see if it gets through to that. And SPYs is actually down here on the futures line. But as long as ADD is not printing green, there's always a chance. I don't like the Qs struggling to move lower here. If they stay below that pink line, you're probably a bit safer. But God damn it. Come on. And I got stopped out. That son of a bitch. Well, I mean, the next supports down on these things are the futures lines down here. I don't like, my issue is that the Qs didn't make it down as low as I thought they would, and we're starting to see wicks on the bottoms of these candles. It does not mean that this move won't continue down, okay? I don't like to hold my trades for very long. I don't like to hold them for very long, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did come down and touch these respective support levels. What I don't want to do is give up what I consider to be great profit, hoping for greater profit, because I think that that's something that gets a lot of people in trouble. I truly believe that is something that gets a lot of people in trouble, and I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to be in trouble. I want to get in because I feel comfortable at the time getting in. And if we get to where I wanted to go, now we were very close. And when we were getting down here is the reason I was starting to trail my win, because my intention was, as I said to you guys, if both of these charts hit the blue line, I will market myself out of the trade. But until then, I've got a stop in place so that if it does pull back, I get stuck, I get out. Okay. So for me, now I'm very thankful for that stop, because I probably would have been stuck holding this thing again if I didn't have it. That would be me right now. Yeah, how many people in here took that trade? I'm seeing a lot of you guys already telling me you're one and done for the day. 11%, 27%, blue books, all those things. It's good, guys. If you didn't like it, don't take it. 19%, 16%, $300 a contract. Yeah, Adam, that was a good payer. I haven't even done the math yet. I didn't even look yet. I actually set my stop and took the situation out of my own hands. So I don't know what my P&L is yet. I'm sure it's good though, because I did notice how expensive things were, and I did notice how fast they were moving for a second there. 16%, 11%, 17%. Great job, guys. Great job. All right, well, let's see if we can wait for the next setup. It still feels heavy. I'm not liking calls and yet. And the Qs still have yet to even breach our call line. So there's that. So you want to watch the Qs. The Qs are seemingly keeping SPY at bay right now. Good job, 13%, 69 Charger fan. I won't be at all surprised if SPY and Qs go down to their actual supports. Okay, so the support on the Qs is all the way down at 509.18. I just like the idea of the blue lines because I'd already had those there. But if you guys look left, this is where the real supports are, where we failed to move lower the last time we were below the levels we broke below to take these puts in the first place. Okay. So just watch out for that. If we don't break out of this range soon, this could be a lot like Wednesday. Wednesday was an uncomfortable day. The charts were acting weird until much later in the day. So if you don't like what you see, then don't do anything. You can't lose money if you don't put money in the market. Period. Good job, JM Photos, 13%, 16%. Guys, you just made that in what? A minute? Some of you even less. Some of you guys were in there for 30 seconds. Where do you get that return? Where do you get that return anywhere else? Unless it's illegally. 25% for California Chris, 12%. right? Yes, it was expensive to play today. We kind of knew that going in. Why? Because the market maker expected move today was high, and there's high volatility in the market right now. There's a lot of unknowns, and today's reports absolutely added to the unknown factor. And, that's going to make things get more and more expensive. It's going to get, good job, Mark, 15%, 12%. It was a good morning. It was a good morning. Now we sit and we wait. All right. Now we sit and we wait for the next setup. But I'm going to put alerts down here just so that we could see if SPY and Qs get down to their actual supports. Qs looks like they're going to get there before SPY is. ADD is kind of just hanging on right now. If ADD was still trending down, both of these charts would hit their lines at the same time. Both these charts would hit their lines at the same time. So let's just see if this, look at the Qs. They're pennies off the support that I would have wished they would have hit cleanly on that original move down. Let's see. So you're going to get the beep on the Qs. There you go. So the Qs just made it to that line of support. Now, if they close below that line of support, we should expect them to continue down to the pre-market low line. That is 508.43 on the Qs. SPY's still trying to work its way down. And we need the help from ADD, and we need Qs to get below the support level that it just got to, which is that 508.16, 508.17 line that we were making it aware of. All right, so let's see what happens here. Let's see if SPY continues down. You've got Qs trying to push through. So next, I would be expecting Qs at 508.43. And I would expect, if ADD keeps printing red, SPY down to 508 or 583.57. You'll hear a beep when it gets there. Now, kudos to anybody who may have bought the pullback. You had a pullback to resistance on both Qs, and you were getting near one on SPY. So if you bought that and you're hitting on all cylinders now. Austin, good job, 37%. McQuestion up 3% on the account on the day. There is our target on SPY, and look at where the Qs are, guys. We said if they can close below this one here, they're likely to make it down to the next one. Now you have the help from ADD, and this bad boy is next target down for SPY is, if it gets below these little dingleberries here, is it's also pre-market low line. Okay, and again, good job, Isaiah, 28%. Yodel Yens, with this trade, I'm in profit in 2025 and all time. Joined 1.5 months ago. Great job, man. Congratulations from Germany. This man is. I'm proud of you, man. Keep it up. B-ball, 16% win, 15% skinny, 25%, 4% on the account. Good job. Derivatives, guys, I want you to consider how easily that money came to you. I don't want you to concern yourself with how big the dollar amount is. Good job, Silent Killer. 7% on the account. Valve Rave. Let's go, guys. Wednesday was a difficult day for a lot of us. Why don't you consider leaving good enough alone? Now, you know as well as I do, I differ from a lot of other people. I don't condone the idea of continuing to trade all day long. Good job, Unky Fester, 13%. 1 or 2% account growth. And I tell you guys this all the time. If you make a full digit growth on your overall account on any given day, please understand the rarity of that. That is a feat that you won't likely do on a regular basis. It doesn't matter what size your account is because it's all relative, right? If you got a $1,000 account and you're still making 1% on it, you have less buying power to earn that 1%. So that's why I try and tell you guys, please don't concern yourself with the exact dollar amounts. Concern yourself with the percentage return because it's easy to diminish what you just accomplished, because in our day-to-day lives, yes, $100 is not life-changing money. But when you're struggling to be green on a regular basis, then $100 in your trading account on a daily basis is account changing money. You have to let that be a realization for you. You have to. Okay? If you want to continue to trade, please just wait for the right setups. For me, I get a lot more conservative when my first trade of the day is green. And the reason for that is because anything I do after that is me willing to put what I've already accomplished at risk of being taken away. Okay? It starts to behave just like a casino. You get in. I did it yesterday, guys, on my day off. I went to the casino with $500. 17 minutes later, I doubled my money. I walked right out the door. Boom. So I trade like I gamble. I go in, I make my money. I have very explicit rules, and that's it. Okay? And you got to get yourself in that mindset. Get away from I'm chasing a specific dollar amount to I need to learn how to be consistent in becoming a green trader, because the beauty is once you've learned how to make money consistently, regardless of the amount, then you've also grown the confidence in the comfort level to scale up. And then that is when the money will start to be returned to you for your efforts in becoming a consistent trader. All right. So great job this morning, guys. Congratulations. You should be proud of yourselves. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Another trade in the books. Every day this year so far, I know we're only 10 days in, I have given you guys a glimpse, insight to exactly what happens in the room. You have seen every single one of the trades that I have taken work. Does it mean I have a crystal ball that shows me the future? Of course it doesn't. Okay. It just means that I understand probabilities and I'm using those probabilities to my advantage. Does it work 100% of the time? No. So far, the answer has been yes for this year, but I'm not naive. I'm going to take a loss at some point, and you will see that when it happens, right? Because I do want to show you how I manage my losing trades as well. Sometimes you might see me hold and hope, which I'm not going to be proud of, but I'm going to share it with you because it happens to every trader. All right. And when that day comes, I will post that video as well. All right. But until then, I hope you get some valuable information out of these videos. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, well, there's a link down below. We are glad to have you. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Till Monday. I love you guys.